Look at us back together.
Friends!
We've gone through blizzards and snowstorms and vacations and all over the place.
And now we're here.
Yeah, and now here we are. So we have some good news. A little bit of good news is that the severe chances are, well, we kind of knew this, but now officially the severe chances are down a little bit.
Dropping. And we were talking about all day and really the last few days that it was the northeast side of town that had the highest chance for severe storms. But when we're looking through the modeling, we're just like, we don't necessarily see it.
Didn't look that bad, but the Storm Prediction Center was highlighting our area, maybe erring on the side of caution. You know, I suppose that's always a good idea. And there still is a chance for strong thunderstorms, no doubt about that. But it now looks like, you know, kind of what we were seeing is kind of coming to fruition, that, you know, well to the northeast of Houston is where we have the better chance for heavy rain and severe weather, but we'll have one or two.
And I really think it shows what's happening right now. Not much. I mean, we haven't really seen any, you know, widespread severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think if maybe the line was a lot stronger this morning, then they would have been like, hey, we're going to hold on to it. But
because really the early models were showing that we would have really been raining a lot more by now. Yeah, and it just hasn't happened yet. So, you know, I mean, that's good, but don't let your guard down. The Fox 26 weather app has two modes. Okay, it's got, you could set it to Houston, just to default to Houston. I do that sometimes. Or you could have it follow you. You know, you have to give it permission. It'll come up and say, you know, give app permission to whatever, track your location. But it's not that it's tracking you like a big brother. It's going to know where you are, so that if there's, like, let's say a tornado warning and you're in that box, then it will alert your phone. So that way you know, and it's really important.
yeah, and you know, you could even put in the zip code of your kids' schools or something like that if maybe you work kind of outside, because you know how big Houston is. That one area could have a tornado warning and the other seeing sunshine. Type of deal. So that's always something good to do. But let's get to the graphics so we can show you that most of us are out of that major threat, and Beaumont's not even in the threat. I mean,
they moved it a lot, so they moved it a whole lot.
It was a huge shift.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the morning, I kind of kept thinking, well, you know, maybe the Storm Prediction Center is going to move the yellow out. We got an update as of 6 a.m., and they hadn't done so, but they kept the green area the same, so including Fort Bend County, and it means the Katy area, the Sugar Land area, all of Harris County, all of Montgomery County, all of Galveston County, and most of Brazoria. So all of these areas are still at that, you know, having the possibility for some gusty winds, and can't even rule out an isolated tornado, but it's just not going to be a really widespread event.
And, you know, it's 11 o'clock right now, and we're seeing maybe some showers moving through, you know, Bryan College Station region. But just know that we mentioned how large this viewing area is. That's why that time frame is kind of wide. But I mean, really, these storms have to go from College Station and then clearing off the coast of Galveston. So that's why it could be taking a little bit of time. And if anything, maybe a brief isolated spin up. But right now that we're totally out of the 2 out of 5 likely risk, I would think that has lowered a lot more.
Definitely fewer of those. So yeah, there is a line that's formed out there. It's completely non-severe right now, but it may get its act together. It's already passed, you know, like you said, the Bryan College Station area, and is going to most likely just continue its trek a little closer to Hempstead and back over to around Magnolia and those spots, and down here in Fort Bend. I mean, it's raining. I mean, it'll definitely catch your attention there on 59 and on Grand Parkway, and that's moving up toward 290 also. And there's a look at that line, just the leading edge of the rain that's moving in, but not even really lightning at this point.
And so I want to take you up to Tyler. That's going to be right below our little red banner there. Really just outside, they have seen a ton of rain. These storms have basically just been sitting overhead. So there have been actually a flash flood warning up there. So and maybe that is another reason why the National Weather Service, or Storm Prediction Center rather, moved it, because most of the heavy rain and any lightning that I've been watching this morning has been up to the north, not necessarily on the southern tail.
Yeah, this morning Dallas was under a flash flood warning almost the whole morning. So yeah, definitely disruptive for their morning commute. So what you're looking at here is not just that severe outlook, the green that we just showed you, but also the radar. Actually, this is actually current radar. And so, you know, the areas that are at the risk for severe weather are not seeing severe weather just yet. But like we mentioned, you know, between the 11, basically right now, you know, and maybe 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.-ish time frame, this has to make it through this whole area, which is obviously a pretty big area.
Okay, and then they dropped that severe wind outlook as well.
Yeah, from 15% to 5%.
So that's good. Hail, I guarantee the tornado dropped significantly. But it looks like this model's pretty spot on with the timing. I mean, right now it's through Brenham, and this is an hour into the future.
Yeah.
You know, 290 heading out towards Cyprus.
All right, well, let's roll that beautiful bean footage and see what it, okay, so see again, it's those, the big red blobs off to the east are the ones that, you know, even here at the model look like they might be spinning a little bit. So that's a bigger threat though over there for the Texas-Louisiana state line and areas off to the east of Houston, and then maybe it'll just be sort of more, just really more isolated kind of stuff closer to Houston.
And then once this clears out, I mean, we have a beautiful forecast after. Let's see if we can go. Yeah.
Yeah. So after, I'm looking forward to it because I am so tired of the dreariness and the cold and just the everything's wet. So yeah, we're finally going to clear out and dry out, and everything's looking really, really nice.
And so, you know, I was off yesterday, but I was watching Mike, of course, as I do every morning.
You should not watch when you're off, but okay.
Always watch. And Mike's like, and the sun might even peek out this afternoon. And I swear, I'm like staring at the sky yesterday when I'm taking Ryder out, and I was like,
waiting?
there's like a little bit of sun. I was like,
is that right?
Yeah, very minimal,
okay.
but it was.
That's okay. It was a peak.
But my backyard is a complete disaster.
Yeah, I agree. Mine is like, I had to walk out there in the grass.
It's like.
It was, yeah, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all.
And I just gave Ryder a bath, and then he comes in and there's mud splotches.
Yes.
Because, I mean, with his golden fur, I mean, it's so.
You could tell.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I'm like, we're done with this. And the brown grass. But my mother-in-law keeps saying, it's Houston, and you know in a few months it's going to be beautiful and green.
Sure.
And it's all going to be good.
I don't understand how Pippin, well, see, Pippin does have kind of short legs, but when he goes outside, his belly is wet. And I'm like, what?
Well, when
Man,
they
why is
tinkle,
your belly wet?
they like lower to the ground.
It's so, you know, we got to break out the paper towel. Look, it's an adventure. Look, owning pets is an adventure, okay? It definitely is.
It's worth it.
So we have a Ramisha
Yes.
special
Yes.
right here.
And so obviously we got this update within the last,
Yeah.
like 5-10 minutes. So Ramisha's really just going to go through and talk about, okay, this is what some of the severe threats looked like a bit earlier, but then how can you stay safe no matter.
Yeah, whether it's
time.
today or
Yeah.
even as we head into the springtime and beyond. Yep, here she is.
Thanks for joining us on Forecasting with Friends. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade, here to talk about our continued topsy-turvy weather across H-Town. Of course, hard to believe, last week when you looked out the window, you probably saw snow and ice on the ground. A week later, the snow, ice, a historic winter storm, once-in-a-generation winter storm, long gone. In its place, we're back to feeling like spring outside, and we've got the threat for severe storms. So when you have unseasonably warm weather like this, that's usually what happens when you have a cold front or a disturbance come through, and that's what we have happening for our Thursday. So make sure that you are prepared. It is a Fox 26 storm alert day. That means we have the potential for some pretty active weather. So make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts. One great way to do that, our Fox 26 weather app, and make sure to download our Fox local streaming app as well on your phone so that you can get all of the extended extra coverage that we will be doing during this event. All right, let's talk about your threats for your Thursday. Heavy rain, medium chance for that. Not looking like a huge widespread flooding threat, but there could be some isolated 1 to 2 inch rain totals, especially east and northeast of Houston. And also, many of you will get up to an inch of rain, so certainly watch out for a few flooded streets that could develop. Low chance for some hail that could be maybe quarter size or larger, and there will be a medium chance for severe wind gusts that could be around 60 miles per hour or stronger. So that could be wind strong enough to knock down trees or tree limbs, maybe cause a few power outages. So certainly be ready for that. Also, there is a low tornado risk with the weather coming in, so make sure to keep in mind that you could have to run for that shelter very quickly. So like I said, make sure to have a way to get the alerts if we get any tornado warnings or anything like that, but also have an emergency plan in place. Know exactly what you're going to do or where you're going to go and where you're going to take your family if you do go under a tornado warning. Now let's talk about where you can go to try to stay safe. You always want to try to get to the lowest level of your home, your office building, or whatever building you're located in, and try to get to the interior portion of that building. Try to stay away from those outside walls. If you can find a bathroom, a hallway in the middle portion of your home or your building, that is going to be the best place to go. You want to try to stay away from windows and try to stay away from those outside walls. Of course, you never want to be on a higher level of a building. Always try to get to the lowest level so that you can try to protect yourself in case you were hit by a tornado. It's always a good idea as well to try to protect your head and your body from any flying debris. If you can have a helmet that you can find around the house to put on your head, that's a good idea. Always a great idea to put shoes on as well. There may be shattered glass from windows being blown out, so that's a good idea also. We also are going to have the threat for a little bit of hail. So of course, these are a look at some of the hail sizes. I'm not expecting 4-inch softball size hail or nearly 3-inch baseball size hail, but we could have hail anywhere from about quarter size to ping pong ball size. That's around 1 to 1.5 inches, and that is considered severe. Golf ball size hail, close to 2 inches, likely not going to have that for our threat for today, but overall there will be the potential for some hail, at least quarter size or a little bit larger, so you will want to watch out for that as well. Not looking at a huge flood threat today, but you always want to be prepared for flooding, especially if you live or work around a low-lying area. The difference between a flash flood watch and a flash flood warning, well, flash flood watch means conditions are favorable for the development of flooding, so you need to be prepared. You need to be on alert. Now, if you go under a flood warning or flash flood warning, that means that the flooding is occurring and you are in danger and you need to take action immediately to stay safe from that flooding. I'm not expecting a ton of flooding, but there could be some isolated flooded streets, and that of course will be dangerous even if we only have isolated flooding, so make sure that you are prepared for that. How much water does it take to kind of wipe your vehicle away? Well, probably not as much as you think. Really just 6 inches of standing water usually can reach the passenger floor of most cars. 6 inches of moving water can actually knock you off your feet, believe it or not. And how about 12 inches of standing water? That is usually enough to float most vehicles. So that's not really a lot of water when you think about it. So you need to be prepared if you're ever in this situation to act quickly and of course turn around, don't drown, turn around and find an alternate route before you try to drive through a flooded roadway. 24 inches of rushing water can carry away just about any vehicle, including SUVs and also including trucks. So like I said, today's flood threat not going to be on the extremely high side, but there will be the threat for some isolated flooding, so you will want to watch out for that. Now, as far as urban impacts, we are going to have that potential for some of that water to flood some of the urban areas as well. Of course, water can penetrate soil easier than pavement, and that excessive rain can overwhelm the storm drainage systems. So you always want to watch out for that flooding that can develop in urban areas, low-lying areas, areas that are typically prone to flooding. So we've got the threat today for maybe a few brief tornadoes, for a little bit of hail, and we do have that flood threat and maybe some damaging straight line wind gusts. So just make sure you stay alert and keep checking for any warnings for your area, and we will do our best to make sure that you stay ahead of the storm and stay safe.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Well, it's been over 6 months, more than 6 months, since Hurricane Beryl hit Houston, and the National Hurricane Center has released its post-storm analysis.
So Beryl initially thought to have had 80-mile-per-hour winds, but was upgraded to a strong Category 1 hurricane with 92-mile-per-hour winds. That is nearly Category 2 intensification. Now, we saw the rapid intensification, and they're looking at comparisons like Hurricane Ike with similar impacts to the tree damage as well as those power outages.
Yeah, now Beryl peaked as a Category 5, in fact set the record as the earliest Category 5 in the Caribbean Sea. Fortunately, it was not a 5 when it hit us. But the storm slowed down after making landfall because of Matagorda Bay's geography. So hitting as a Cat 1, but sort of, this happens in Florida, where it'll make landfall over kind of a swampy area, a flat swampy area, and won't really lose sort of its structure,
integrity,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like its integrity. Yeah, so that might be part of what happened with Beryl. But I'm happy to see that they went back and adjusted, because we knew,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's like you're watching this thing, you're like, I don't know if this is your average Category 1.
No, yeah, it played like a 2,
Yeah.
but the whole time, and you know, in the moment, what are you supposed to do? We need to talk about the impacts and everything that happened. So, but it is crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen them go back
Yeah.
and change that.
And yeah, I mean, in our area, I don't think that I've seen it. I mean, I know that with Ike, which was like the legacy of Ike was the storm surge. It was just and it was only a Category 2 only, but it was really, really big and produced this just like a 15-foot storm surge. Was crazy. And so I know that, you know, they might have gone back to that one and said, hey, we're going to do away with that whole storm surge part of the Saffir-Simpson scale, because every storm is different. Yeah. And this one, I don't know if the readings were just incomplete or just not. Maybe it intensified closer to landfall, or maybe even after landfall. It's almost like a lot of the old rules that you think are hard and fast rules, like that a storm weakens as soon as it makes landfall and stuff. It's not always true, because we've seen some weird things happen.
Especially in recent years, the last 5 years.
Yeah, we've seen some weirder things happen over the last few years. Yeah.
I mean, just thinking back to that storm, I just can't believe that it was July.
Yeah.
And to think of the rest of the hurricane season that we had.
And so many storms in the Gulf, and that we fortunately didn't get another one.
Yeah, thankfully.
A lot of people, by the way, are asking too, because the next story is about snow, is the fact that I think it is just a coincidence. People say, well, it always snows after a hurricane. Not necessarily, but we had Harvey, and then it snowed after Harvey, and we had Beryl, and it snowed after Beryl. So, you know.
Okay, but I lived in Orlando, and it never snowed after those hurricanes.
Yeah, so there you go. There's your proof right there. All right, so this is kind of cool. So snow in Flagstaff, Arizona has locals and visitors and pets all excited. We have a look from our sister station out in Arizona.
On Monday morning,
so whenever I walked out and I saw the snow, I was pretty excited.
Snowflakes blanketed downtown Flagstaff, delighting visitors like Julie, who came to Flagstaff from Michigan to ski for her 80th birthday.
It's wonderful. I mean, that's what I want in Flagstaff in the winter.
Even dogs like Teddy, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, are bundled up.
I made sure. I was going to see if I could get him little boots or something, but I never made it that far.
Throughout the morning and afternoon, snow fell across northern areas like Prescott, Sedona, and Flagstaff, a sight that many were longing to see.
If it doesn't snow again, it'll be disappointing. So we're hoping this continues. I see it's going to probably continue the next couple days.
For many areas, this is the first snow accumulation since early November.
I'm happy. I know some folks on the mountain have been wishing for some snow.
Wishes granted.
We live for this, so we're super excited about it.
Says Josh Hydorn, the risk manager at Arizona Snow Bowl. While they've been able to make their own snow so far this season, there's nothing like fresh powder. And with 100% of their lifts now open, he's hoping for momentum for the rest of the season too.
April is historically when we get the most snowfall anyway, so I think it's here to stay.
Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Teddy was not loving the snow, that's all I'm going to say. Our little King Charles guy.
Oh, yeah, the doggy. Yeah. It seems like dogs either go one way or the other. They either like really enjoy it or they're like, no thank you. So I think Teddy, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, was like, I don't know. Okay, moving on now to space.
We're everywhere.
I know, we're everywhere, right? We're in Arizona, we're here, we're in space. Okay, so NASA says they found important life-building molecules like amino acids and ammonia in samples from an asteroid. The asteroid is named Bennu.
So this suggests that the early solar system had the right conditions for life, possibly even on other planets. The samples collected by the ORIS-REx mission also showed signs of salt water, which could have helped these molecules form.
Yeah, now scientists think that these asteroids, like Bennu, might have brought these ingredients to Earth. that's how they got here and maybe started life. I mean, these is all speculation.
Yes.
This discovery helps us learn more about how life may have started in our solar system.
That is just crazy to think
It's amazing
about.
that you can go take samples of an asteroid. Yeah, they have these missions. You know, we visited a comet, we visited an asteroid. They got one around the sun right now. We smashed a probe into Jupiter. They do all kind of fun stuff. Now they got to go try to rescue those astronauts that are still stuck up there in the space station.
That's, I don't know, 8 days to 8 months. No thanks.
No.
I mean, even if you could be guaranteed to come back in 8 days, still not going to do it.
No, I don't like to go on those scary rides at the rodeo.
Yeah.
Let alone get stuck up in space for 8 months.
I'm good.
So we are, continuing to watch how everything develops on the radar, and we will have a last look at the severe weather chances for the day today after this.
A little change.